Hello, welcome to the Prime Podcast. This is the 4th episode, and I'm here to talk about the week in consumer electronics and technology news, covering topics like Amazon and their next generation Kindle Fire, Verizon's Galaxy Nexus might be getting a successor very soon, should Minecraft be brought to Steam, Verizon Samsung Galaxy S3, and when Samsung might announce the Galaxy Note 10.1. So let's get started with our first article, which is the Kindle Fire. It's been out for quite a while now, almost a year actually. And it's actually we're just kind of getting really close to a time when Amazon could launch a successor to this tablet, especially since I've been enjoying tablets like the Nexus 7, and the Nexus 7 is the same price as the Kindle Fire at $200. It offers a lot more, like an IPS HD display, quad-core processor, and Android Jelly Bean, making it like the perfect low-cost Android tablet. So really, right now, Google is really taking the lead and having the advantages of in like the 7-inch or in Android tablets in general, the whole market, because it's really just a really great device. It's small, very portable, but bigger than a phone, so you can do a little bit more. And it's extremely fast with Jelly Bean, and quad-core processor just makes things really, really fast. And it just makes this Kindle Fire look kind of like a bad deal. But in order to get back into the market, Amazon is going to launch a next generation Kindle Fire. The big question is, when will they launch it, and what will it be about? And Staples just recently told Reuters that Amazon plans to launch 5 or 6 new Kindle Fire tablets instead of just one this year. So previously it was expected that Amazon was to launch just another 7-inch Kindle Fire just easily replace the current 7-inch Kindle Fire. But according to Staples and Reuters, it's possibly going to change, and Amazon might actually launch up to 6 Kindle Fire tablets. And that'll be very, very interesting, and I actually think they're probably going to have a similar strategy to Samsung, where they plan to launch a whole series of tablets. They're all very similar, with different screen sizes. So I put together a few potential Kindle Fire devices that Amazon could launch in the coming weeks. The first one is the 4-inch Kindle Fire phone. This is likely because there's been many rumors that Amazon's working on a phone based off of the same kind of Kindle Fire software. And a 4-inch phone is kind of like the baseline at this point in time. Yeah, they can make a smaller 3-inch one. But right in the market now with Android phones, it just doesn't really make sense to launch a really tiny 3-inch phone. Well, it makes more sense to start with a 4-inch phone, since 4 inches is actually somewhat small if you actually think about it when you look at the 5-inch phones that are on the market. To add to that, they should have a 5-inch Kindle Fire phone as well, and that means you'd have 2 phones, a 4-inch one and a 5-inch one, a smaller one and a bigger one. Then if you want a big phone, you can go with the big one. If you want a small phone, you go with the small phone. That leaves 4 places for tablets, and to start with the tablets, I think Amazon's going to go with a 7-inch Kindle Fire like they already have. That's going to be the baseline tablet model. It's kind of small, and it's kind of as small as we've seen tablets at this point in time. We haven't seen like 6-inch tablets at all yet. Then comes an 8-inch tablet, which is a little bit bigger, not a whole lot bigger, and it would compete with devices like the larger 7-inch ones, and other ones like the Galaxy Tab 8.9, the Galaxy Tab 7.7. They're all kind of in between 7 and 8 inches. So next up is the 9-inch tablet. It's going to be a little bit bigger than the other ones. It'll be very similar in size to the iPad. And then finally, there's a 10-inch Kindle Fire tablet, which will be like the same size as like a Galaxy Tab 10.1. And that basically means Samsung would have a device all the way down from 4-inch screen to a 10-inch screen, all the way up to a 10-inch screen. Very similar to what Samsung has. They have smaller phones like the Galaxy S3, and then they have bigger phones like the Galaxy Note. And then they have smaller tablets like the Galaxy Tab 7.7 and bigger tablets like the Galaxy Tab 10.1. So Amazon's probably going to have a very similar strategy to what Samsung's been very successful with, or actually not very successful, but they just kind of have been doing. They've only really been successful in the phone market because Android tablets at this point in time, or at least in the past, haven't been all that impressive when compared to the iPad. Of course, that's probably going to change over the next year or so because Google's really making things a little bit different with the 7-inch Nexus 7. But the thing is, Amazon might not do they might not do different screen sizes. They might just launch an Amazon Kindle phone, like a 4-inch phone, then a 7-inch tablet and a 10-inch tablet. They could do something like that. Just 3 models, but all those models will be offered in 32 and 64 gigabyte versions, or 16 and 32 gigabyte versions. And that would mean that they could just basically have a few devices, and those few devices would be available in different screen sizes. And who knows, maybe they're just going to launch 2 tablets, a 7-inch tablet and a 10-inch tablet with 16, 32, and 64 gigabyte versions, and that would still lead to 6, but just be tablets. And then, like maybe next year they'd introduce the phone, and the year after that they might introduce another tablet or something like that. But they're going to probably launch more than one Kindle Fire. We kind of know that. We just don't know what it's all going to be about, what versions are going to be available, when they're going to arrive. But I wouldn't be surprised if Amazon announces these next generation Kindles before the end of this month, which we have about a week. So at this point in time, it's probably not very likely, but it still is possible they could launch it. But even more likely, they're going to do it next month, sometime in August. And that would make sense, since Amazon began selling the Kindle Fire in November 2011, and they're probably aiming for a pretty standard annual release cycle. And in the meantime, we're going to go over to our first sponsor, which is the Kindle Fire. We just talked about the Kindle Fire. There's new models. So you can check out the link. It's an Amazon link, and it'll support us. It'll support Amazon. You can buy the Kindle Fire now for $200. Yeah, it is about the same price as the Nexus 7, which is a little bit better of a tablet. But the Kindle Fire still is a very good tablet if you want Amazon's ecosystem, the superior user interface, at least as far as simplicity goes, ease of use. And if you are willing to just kind of add to your wish list on the Amazon page, you can kind of check back every week or so, and eventually this $200 Kindle Fire might be $100 or $150, since it's going to be a last generation product, and Amazon will want to get rid of stock as quickly as they can to replace it with the next generation Kindle Fire, which could arrive very, very shortly. Next up, we're going to talk about smartphones, and more specifically Verizon's Galaxy Nexus. So for the past 3 months, Verizon's been selling the Galaxy Nexus on their network for $200, which is a pretty good deal when you think about it, and that's on a 2-year contract. But the Galaxy Nexus is also around the same price as much better phones like the Galaxy S3 and Android-compatible 4G LTE that are really starting to take the place of the Galaxy Nexus on the top of Verizon's Android lineup of phones. So because of that, Verizon's actually decided to lower the price of the Galaxy Nexus even further, which also means that we might be seeing a new Nexus phone in the near future. As of now, Verizon's now selling the Galaxy Nexus for just $100 on a 2-year contract, and that's if you order it online. It's going to be $150 if you go to a store, so why not order it online and save a load of money, although you might be able to save even a little bit more money if you get it from a place like Amazon. I don't know the specifics on how much Amazon charges for it, but you just might have a better deal, because there's a lot of times when Amazon has these sales where they sell phones for $0.01 and so on. But also note that you can get an unlocked Galaxy Nexus from Verizon for $650, which is significantly higher than the $350 that Google wants for the unlocked HSPA Plus version, which works on AT&T and T-Mobile here in the United States. So if you're planning to purchase a new phone, I would personally at least look at the Nexus or the Galaxy Nexus, since it is a good device. But I would personally consider waiting just a few more months. Google is most likely planning to launch a new Nexus smartphone or multiple new Nexus smartphones later this fall, which could replace the Galaxy Nexus. Even if you don't want to buy one of those new Nexus phones, the Galaxy Nexus would receive another price cut, making it maybe $50 or maybe even free on a 2-year contract. Just look at the last Nexus phone, the Nexus S, which is now pretty much free on carriers like Sprint. So basically, if you want a Nexus 7 or Galaxy Nexus, I'd at least consider waiting, even if you don't want to get the next generation phone, because it's going to go on sale and cost even less, and that'll save you a little bit of money. Now we're going to move on to Minecraft and Steam. So last week was the Steam Summer Sale, where nearly every game on the PC gaming platform called Steam was on sale. Games like Deus Ex, Crysis 2, and Dead Island could be picked up for as little as $10 a piece. And whole collections of games from developers like Bethesda, could have picked up for like $50. So really, Steam really has some good discounts, and the annual sales are a really good way to get games for the PC if you don't really want to pay the full retail price of maybe $60 or so, or even more. But because of the large community and great game collection, many developers have been going to Steam to get their games published and promoted. Part of the Steam summer sale this year has been called the Indie Bundle, where Steam sells a collection of 4 or 5 indie games for $10. Steam swapped out deals daily, so one day I might be looking at Terraria, and another day I might be looking at Cube. Both are indie games on Steam. So Steam's really a great platform. That's one of the reasons why PC gaming is so popular. I personally probably wouldn't be into PC gaming if I couldn't get all the games in the same place and run them without having like a DVD player. If I couldn't have like a dedicated Steam hard drive where I can swap out and play the games on different computers. Things like that make PC gaming really, really good for people like me who already have a good PC. And just why not? It's there. You can watch movies, you can watch TV, you can browse the web, you can do pretty much anything on PC, including gaming. And so that makes me wonder why Minecraft isn't available on Steam. So bringing Minecraft to Steam isn't a new topic at all. And last year, on August 29, 2011, Notch, the guy who developed Minecraft originally, posted a blog post explaining why Minecraft isn't available for Steam. Notch started by talking about how Steam is such a great platform, and how he personally uses it to play games on PC. And despite a few things like bad offline mode and issues with DLC, Notch really likes Steam as a gaming platform. He just doesn't think it's a good platform for Minecraft. The big thing that Notch doesn't like about Steam is that the control Valve has over Steam games. Because right now Notch distributes Minecraft directly to customers. He can do things like give people certain features like capes, and it would be more difficult for users to get things like map, skin, texture pack, as well as mods if the game is on Steam. So those features really make Minecraft a very good game that's very, very long lasting. And actually this week, Notch kind of talked a little bit about the state of Steam and why Minecraft isn't available on Steam today. And Notch told PC Gamer that basically Notch's biggest issue with Steam now involves money. And right now, basically, Notch's company Mohang gets all the money they earn from selling Minecraft. And that's like a ton of money. Actually, each day, Mohang, the company who makes Minecraft, makes $314,000 from selling just over 11,000 copies of Minecraft. And if the game is on Steam, that amount of money, it would be just a little bit less, since Valve actually gets 30% of all the games, all the money generated from sales, the sale of games on their Steam platform. And Mohang doesn't want that. They want to make all the money they can from the game. But I've personally kind of talked about how Minecraft on Steam could possibly work. One of the reasons is you might have realized that Minecraft is now available for Android, iOS, as well as the Xbox. All three of those platforms have their own marketplace where they sell games. Minecraft is not sold and distributed directly from Mohang on those platforms. In other words, Mohang has already been dealing with giving up a load of money in order to get their games on a larger marketplace. Minecraft has been very successful on all three of those platforms, and it could be successful on Steam as well. And they're only losing a tiny bit of money, and that money they get, they lose actually, that money they lose gives them a few key things that could make Minecraft better on Steam. First of all, it'll have a bigger audience, so some people would be lost if Minecraft wasn't sold on Steam. Some money would be lost if Minecraft was sold on Steam. But Steam is an incredible service. It's very popular. And at the time of writing this article, there are 3 million people currently playing games on Steam. That's down from 5+ million that were online during the Steam summer sale last week. So there would be an overlap of users, but there's bound to be a lot of users that are on Steam that don't play Minecraft. And if they see it on Steam, might buy it, and they might play it more often. And that adds to my third and probably biggest reason, and that's a united community. And basically, Minecraft, it does have a community, but it's really spread out. Minecraft's a game that anybody can play. and anybody can create a Minecraft server, and anybody can join any server. So that basically means there aren't any like official servers or easy ways to find these communities and servers without using something like Google. With Steam, you could purchase Minecraft, then open up a friends list and click play with friend, and you'd be instantly in the world or server that your friend's on. And that way you can just easily play with friends, hang out with friends, and that feature makes Minecraft on things like Xbox very, very popular. You have friends, you can just join their matches anytime you want, and that's something that a lot of people will like. And I think it'd be awesome to have Minecraft on Steam, just because I could do stuff like that. There would be official server lists, and mods, texture packs, and skins could be easily installed and updated, and that would all happen through the Steam workshop. You would no longer need to install dozens of mods. Every time a new version of Minecraft comes out, all you need to do is wait for the game to finish updating through Steam. All your mods will be installed, and everything will work just fine. Other games, for example, like Skyrim, you can install mods on the PC version using Steam Workshop. Mods automatically update along with the game. Everything just works smoothly. So Minecraft is a very popular game right now, and Mohang and Notch are very against bringing Minecraft to Steam right now. But there are a lot of reasons to bring Minecraft to Steam, and eventually maybe that'll happen. I personally think it would be a great idea, and it might actually happen eventually, but at this point in time, it's probably not going to happen. But you know, it's very possible. So now on to our next article, and that is Verizon and their Samsung Galaxy S3. I talked a little bit about it last week, because that's when I published this article last Thursday. And basically, Samsung sent us the Galaxy S3, and it shows Verizon because they have good LTE coverage in my area. And so I did an unboxing video and first impressions of the device. So when I published this article, I had only been using the smartphone for about 24 hours, but now obviously I've been using it for over a week now. And so I'm going to add to this article just a little bit, because I've had a lot more experience with the device, and my opinions that I publish in this first impression still are intact, but I can have a little bit more experience when it comes to the phone. So first of all, the performance of the phone, and the quad-core Tegra 3 processor found in many competing devices like the One X and Nexus 7 are certainly extremely fast processors. But that Qualcomm is still very, very fast, and this dual-core Snapdragon S4 processor in the Galaxy S3 is really, really incredible. It offers a quadrant score of nearly 5,000, which is significantly better than phones from last year, like the Galaxy S2 and Galaxy Nexus. And as far as gaming goes, Tegra 3 is a little bit faster with 12-core graphics, but this S4 processor still can run any game, just no problems at all. And that's how performance works. To help the Galaxy S3 perform well, Samsung's put TouchWiz on top of Android 4.0 Sandwich. And it has a new version of TouchWiz called TouchWiz Nature UX. One of the things I like about it is kind of odd, but I like how it looks identical to what the Android looked like on last year's Galaxy S2. TouchWiz looked identical. There are a few tweaks and more features, but it looks the same. So if you've used the Galaxy S2, you have a friend who has the Galaxy S2, you're looking at the Galaxy S3, you can pick it up and you'll already know how to use the phone. I really like that. Apple has kind of been doing that for a while now. They just update the phone. So it looks identical. The software looks the same, but and then there are more features. It works better and that kind of stuff. So it's ice cream sandwich, but it looks like gingerbread. I kind of like that because it's just simple. I do personally like the stock version Android just a little bit better, but TouchWiz isn't a bad skin. I didn't like the original version TouchWiz with the original Galaxy S, but I do like TouchWiz on the Galaxy S2 and the Galaxy S3, and it works well. It doesn't like the phone very much because it's very, very fast of a phone, and I really think this is a good piece of software, TouchWiz Nature UX. And I really like the software on it. And it also has a ton of new features. One of my favorites is called Smart Stay, and basically, you know, if you've used a phone in the past, there's a timer that will automatically shut off the screen. and that might be 15 seconds, and that might be 30 minutes. I usually do 30 minutes because I don't want the phone turning off when I'm watching a YouTube video or reading something. And with this Galaxy S3, you can actually set this thing to 15 seconds, and if you like set the phone down, look away for 15 seconds, so the screen will go off, just like it normally would. But if you're looking at the screen, reading a book, watching a YouTube video, the screen won't shut off, and that's a very, very nice feature. Basically uses the front-facing camera on the phone. You just monitor eye movement, and it'll detect if you're looking at the phone, and it'll make sure that the display is kept on. I really like that feature. And of course, there are a ton of Samsung apps like All Share Play, and that allows you to share media onto like a TVs and DLNA and that kind of stuff. I really like that. Another one is called Kai's Air, and that, if I remember right, it basically allows you to set up a server on your device, and you go to in a web browser on a tablet or another computer or another phone even, and you can actually just look at all the media on your phone, all the contacts and that kind of stuff, and it's very, very nice. And Samsung's known for having a ton of apps on their phones. Some people might not like it. I think it's a good option for many people. Personally, I'm still kind of a guy that prefers stock Android, but TouchWiz certainly isn't bad, and it certainly isn't bad on this Galaxy S3 either. One of the bad things about performance with this device actually involves 4G LTE, and that's kind of odd because in the past I have reviewed many LTE devices, and I usually look at speeds of around 20 down, 10 up. That's kind of at a minimum. I get more than that. I've gotten 30 down and 20 up. That's kind of as high as it goes, and that's some pretty impressive speeds right there. And using the same speed test at servers and same locations and everything like that, I'm just not getting those same speeds with this Galaxy S3. Now I'm still getting pretty fast speeds, but it's more like HTTP Plus or faster 3G speeds. Like I'm doing a speed test right now during the podcast. I'm being like 2 megabits per second down, and uploading is going to load in a few seconds. But basically, 2 megs down is it's certainly fast enough for a lot of people, but it certainly isn't LTE speeds. And the upload looks like it's going to be like 3 megabits per second up. So decent speeds, but certainly not as fast as I'd expect. I don't know why it's so slow. I'm getting a good amount of reception, 4 bars right here. Same place I got 30 megabits per second down on the Galaxy Nexus, but I guess it's just maybe it's because okay. There are a few reasons why this could possibly be happening. Maybe the Galaxy S3 doesn't have the best 4G LTE radio inside. I kind of doubt that. Another thing could be the software doesn't really support the radio correctly, and that could be easily fixed with the software update. Hopefully that's the case. And the other thing could be Verizon's network in my city is really getting clogged up because there are a lot of LTE devices that were recently launched. Verizon's only selling LTE devices now, so many people maybe bought an I knew like Droid 4 thing that has LTE, or an HTC Resound. I'm talking about old phones now, but basically there's basically probably a lot of people in my city who have LTE phones and are constantly using Verizon's network, and that's made the network very slow when compared to what it was last year when it was a brand new network in my city and very few people had LTE. And it was faster then because I was probably the only one on the network in the tower I'm connected to. But now moving on to the aesthetics of the phone, how it looks, how it feels, and I'm really impressed. Samsung's advertising that this phone is designed for humans and inspired by nature. In other words, it's incredibly easy to use, and it just feels good. And there's a theory, one of the theories why Samsung designed it this way is because they don't want to have any more issues with Apple and the patents and that kind of stuff. And as you know, Samsung's made phones similar to the iPad, or not the iPad, but the iPhone, and they've gotten in a lot of trouble. But if you look at this Galaxy S3, it might be somewhat ugly on the outside, but it certainly feels good in the hand. If you hold it up close, it looks good. But it doesn't look at all like the iPhone. The iPhone's very industrial. This is very ergonomic. Things like the screen, there's basically no bezel, and the bezel is different. The top bezel is a little bit smaller and has somewhat of a chin. On the sides, it's kind of curved. Volume button and power button are on opposite sides. The back of the phone isn't like flat, it's kind of curved. It kind of fits in your palm very well. And I like the look of it. Just doesn't look very good in pictures, but if you hold it up and look at it, it looks pretty good actually. I kind of prefer the design of something like the Galaxy S2 on AT&T a little bit better, but it still looks good, and it certainly does feel a lot better in the hand. It's very, it's easy to grip. Yeah, it gets a lot of fingerprints, but it certainly feels good in the hand. It's very smooth, very curved, and I really like how it feels in the hand. It has very ergonomic design, which doesn't look as good as other phones like the One X or iPhone, for example, but it certainly does work, and I'm not really going to complain a whole lot about it. So, I really like the Galaxy S3's design. One thing I didn't like about it at first is that it doesn't really have a bezel at all, and involves maybe I'm holding the phone a little bit different, and I accidentally pressed one of the capacitive buttons at the bottom, because there's basically no bezel, there's no space between the bottom of the phone and the buttons, so I accidentally press those sometimes. And then after a week of using it, I've been able to just kind of avoid that by holding the phone a little bit different. So in conclusion, I really like the Galaxy S3, and in a couple of weeks I'll be posting a full review of it on this YouTube channel, posting a video review there, as well as a written review on the Prime.co, so just stay tuned for that, and I'll explain what I like about the phone, what I don't like about the phone. I'll be going more in depth in different areas, like performance. I'll be going more in depth. I'll talk about the camera and that kind of stuff in that review. But now moving on to Media Temple. This is our second sponsor. First was Amazon in the Kindle Fire. This one is Media Temple, and how they're offering domain names again for $4. They actually started this deal off at the 4th of July. It said $4 domains for the 4th. Now it's $4 domains all summer long, and that basically means if you're looking to get a new domain name, like I believe Verizon Galaxy S3 is available. I at least I tried that yesterday, and it was available. It's .com, everything. So if you want the domain name, you can get it for $4 at Media Temple by clicking the link in the description below. And if you don't want a .com, you can get .net, .org, .info, .biz, .me, .name, .co. And just $4, so it's a pretty good deal there. And even after the deal, they're not really charging a whole lot of money for renewals. It's just $12 a year after that. So Media Temple has good domain names, good web hosting, and please click the link in the description below to go to Media Temple, check them out, and support us and support them. Now moving on to another topic, and that is the Galaxy Note 10.1. So it's been over a year since Samsung launched the first Android 3.0 honeycomb tablet called the Galaxy Tab 10.1. And they've released other tablets, but they're all very similar to the Galaxy Tab 10.1. I keep saying that wrong. But there's rumors that they're going to launch a new device called the Galaxy Note 10.1. They've already showed it off. And they still haven't talked a whole lot about it. But Samsung, this week they talked about holding an event, and they have a major announcement where they unveil the latest Galaxy device. It'll be a North American event focused on the Galaxy devices, and it'll be held on Wednesday, August 15th, and they could potentially unveil this Galaxy Note 10.1. They aren't going to unveil something like an HDTV, camera, or computer, but they could unveil a smartphone, a tablet, or a combination of the two. So, I'm going to talk about a few potential devices that Samsung could unveil, starting with the least likely, going into the most likely. So the least likely is the Samsung Galaxy S4. I have the Galaxy S3 in my hand right now, and it's a very new device. This Galaxy S3 on Verizon just launched 2 weeks ago, and it just wouldn't make a lot of sense for the Galaxy S4 to arrive so soon. And it is potentially possible, because if you look at it, look at the Droid Razr, which arrived, and just like a month later, the Droid Razr Max came out, replacing it. So there could potentially be a Galaxy S4, but more likely than that, they're going to launch something like a slightly improved variant of the Galaxy S3. Like, for example, look at last year, where Samsung launched on the AT&T Galaxy S2. Then the Galaxy 2 Skyrocket with LTE support and a bigger screen. Then the Skyrocket HD didn't launch, but it was announced, and that was same as the Galaxy S2 Skyrocket, but with an HD display. So each kind of update added a new feature, one new feature. So we don't know what this new feature could be, but maybe it could be a Galaxy S3 Jelly Bean that comes the latest version of Android. It could be something like that, but it's possible, but not likely, I don't think. Next up is the Galaxy Note 2. The Galaxy Note's been getting somewhat old now because it was announced this time of year last year. So a Galaxy Note 2 is very possible. But the thing that's kind of making this not so likely is that Samsung launched the Galaxy Note at an event called IFA 2011, which is held in Berlin. IFA 2012 doesn't kick off until August 30th, which is a couple weeks after Samsung's August 15th event. So it's not likely that Samsung will announce the Galaxy Note 2 at this August 15th event. It's more likely that they'll announce it at IFA 2012, especially since it's very difficult to get smartphones onto carriers in the United States. And this is a North American-focused event. I don't think that they'd unveil a phone and have it launch like months and months and months later. So look at the original Galaxy Note, for example. It launched around this time of year last year, and it took until like January until it arrived on AT&T in the United States. I think it might have been even after January, but basically it took months for this device, the Galaxy Note, to get in the United States on AT&T. And now it's just coming to T-Mobile right now, so I don't think it's going to be the Galaxy Note 2 this soon, at least at this event. So the most likely device that could be launched is the Galaxy Note 10.1, and that's because we've already seen the Galaxy Note 10.1 briefly at events like MWC 2012, and Samsung just hasn't talked about it a lot. We might finally be seeing a true next generation tablet with a quad-core Exynos 4 processor, along with 2 GB of RAM, 32 GB of storage, and a 10.1-inch Super AMOLED Plus display at nice and high resolution. And I really think this is what's going to happen. It's a really good time for Samsung to get back in the tablet market. They worked hard at it last year and the year before, and they kind of gave up during the first 6 months of this year. And even last year, they haven't done a whole lot at the very end of last year, and that's kind of disappointing because Samsung's let devices like the Kindle Fire and Nexus 7 really take over, even though they have good tablets as well. But this 10.1, Galaxy Note 10.1, could potentially get Samsung back in the tablet market, especially if they sell it at a good price, have good features, and really just do everything correctly. So that's about it for this podcast. We've talked about the week in consumer electronics and technology news, Amazon's Kindle Fire, Verizon's Galaxy Nexus, Minecraft potentially coming to Steam, Verizon's Galaxy S3, and we wrapped it up with the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1. We had a lot of articles to talk about this week, and we'll be back next week to talk about more articles that were covered next week. And we don't know what's going to come, but stay tuned. You can subscribe to get next week's podcast. We also do gaming videos. So, for example, this week we're going to post another episode of our Minecraft series where we build a house in every biome in the Minecraft game. We're going to be doing, I don't remember what the biome is. I think it might be the desert biome. Stay tuned for that. We'll be talking about technology again next week, and we'll continue to post more and more videos. And if you want tech news now, check out theprime.co because that's where we publish all our news the day it happens. So that's about it.